So what are we doing, Michael? Huh?
Rear brakes on the S10.
Oh, Earl. Girl needs some work done. As you can see, look at all that dang brake fluid all over the place. It's not water, that's all brake fluid from this girl. She has just been peeing everywhere.
Go ahead and start jacking her up.
You jack her up. I'm gonna put her on some jack stands, but we gotta get her up high enough, put her on some jack stands, and they're somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Oh, they're over there. So I'll go grab them real quick. All right, so this is what it's supposed to look like when it's nice and done and new. See all those nice new springs and everything like that? Now, let's see. Michael, how much cussing did you do again?
Quite a few words.
All right, so now he's done this side, so it's only fair for me to do the other side. So prepare for a very adult video. Wait, that sounds terrible. That sounds like it's gonna be porn. X-rated. It's not gonna be X-rated. There might be some foul language. All right, so let's take a look at it. I'm actually gonna be the one taking care of it. And so a lot of times it doesn't come off this easy. So sometimes you may actually have to get, I don't know how mine's gonna come off yet. I haven't got that point yet. So it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. And so one thing that you can get is a hammer, and you can actually tap this off. Now, sometimes you'll get where they'll have like these threaded spots, and what you can do is you can actually put like 2 screws in, or 3 or something like that, and you can actually run them in, and it'll actually push this out on some of them. This one, not so much, but it's got this lip, so I'm probably gonna have to grab a hammer. So let me go grab it. All right, so sometimes you take a dead blow such as this, and you can actually come in and just tap it on either side, you know. You see, it's starting to come off. You more than likely can't get up here. As you can see, it's not that much, so you're pretty much just going to be working with the sides here. And it's about off, honestly. I might be able to just... Nope, not yet. Now, I do not have the e-brake on or anything like that. So, what I'll do here... So, just gotta... There we go. Alright. So, these have been leaking like crazy. So, as you can see up in there, look at all that brake fluid that's everywhere up inside there. I mean, it is just, and I mean, that's all brake fluid down there. That's how bad it's been. So we're gonna set that over there, and then we're gonna go ahead and proceed to remove everything from here. So Michael actually did the driver's side, and he told me it was a nightmare. So I'm expecting this to be pretty terrible. So I'm gonna get some brake fluid and try to go ahead and clean up some of this stuff. You know what? I'm not gonna do that, because almost all of this stuff is getting replaced except for the pads. So I'm gonna set the pads aside, clean them up, and then, like, I mean, the wheel cylinder, all the springs are getting replaced. Only one that's not getting replaced is this one right here. That's the only one that doesn't get replaced. But everything else right there, it's all, and that part, they're all gonna go into this right here. Now, I have a tool. You don't have to do it. Like, say, you can actually take, say, a screwdriver and come in and, you know, it's not ideal. Okay, it's not the way to do it. So you can actually rent some tools and whatnot. Move this out of the way because I kind of need the area. Sit you over here, and you got this little guy right here. Now, I don't know how to use this tool, but I believe I did do it just right though. So as you can see how easy that was to get that off. Now, this tool is not that expensive to get one of these things. I mean, just I mean, sometimes it's necessary when you're doing a difficult job to get the right stuff. So we're gonna remember that this spring is gonna go right like that. And then I don't think that this is gonna work here though. I can't remove this spring that same way, I don't believe. But I do have a different way. So let's see here. I don't know if this thing is supposed to be done this way, but man, if it's not supposed to be done that way, it works fantastic though, I gotta say. And so then there's a little spring right here for the e-brake. So we'll just go ahead and here. I don't feel like using my fingers for that. It's kind of cold out here, and so just pull that out. It's not terrible. We're going to be installing it in the reverse manner here. So then they actually have a tool for this too, but I don't have that part to this, so this doesn't help me with what I'm about to do. I don't even know if that tool actually is what I'm supposed to be using here, but it works really good. Basically, it's this right here, and it's sitting in like this. And so so the spring goes over it this way, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab onto this and push the spring back and turn it, and then it's gonna go through a little hole that is on this metal piece right here. And so that's the theory. Now, and this is the piece right here. So see, this is the piece how it has that little hole right there. So that's the theory. Sometimes it doesn't always go to plan. So there's that. I like to use a wrench. It is not going to help me whenever I go to putting it back on, I don't think. So a 14 works great. You can, I mean, the flare just is a better fitting to it, but if all you got is just a 14, it will work. Just be careful with it, and then because once you break it free, as long as the first person didn't mess them up any, then yeah, it's usually going to come off pretty easily. Now you're going to be re-bleeding your lines, so don't think that just because, you know, you're gonna have to rebleed all your lines. Just took this spring off. This is the one that went right here, so yeah, it was in the right side, and it was like this right here, and as you can see, it's actually it was broken. Yeah, see, it fell apart. So that was actually the same on the other side. Now these are probably 30-year-old springs, I gotta say. I mean, look at them, they're pretty old, and there's still one right up in here, and it's probably all worn and whatnot too. But I'm 100% confident that what's been leaking is these wheel cylinders, because that's the only thing that can leak in here. So if your wheels, your rear drums are leaking, it's from here. Either that, or it's the fitting on the back, the two fittings on the back, which, you know, you can only hope that that's what it is. So remember this piece right here. So you want to put this back on before you start doing anything crazy like putting it back together. We actually forgot after we put two of the springs on the other side, and it was like, oh crap, and we had to pull everything back off. So remember this right here, which is really easy to take care of right now, because you're just gonna have to, oh, it's not easy. Oh well, yeah, it is, because I got everything.
Yeah, everything should be possible.
Oh man, Michael, that was so easy. I am totally putting it back together like that. All right, so everything comes off all as one like that.
You gotta replace all those springs.
And
Bottom spring.
so basically everything sits like that. It's all boom. There, everything's done. Sorry, I put y'all down all weird. We're gonna go We gotta take off. We already got the line off, so we can get that out the way. Like you can pretty much bend them a little bit out the way. They're not gonna. It's not gonna hurt them or anything like that. Just don't go. Yeah, just don't go crazy with it. Like don't be just like fucking just grab it. Rah! You just kind of like lift it out the way enough to where it's not bothering you, to where it's out your way. Because it's better if it's out your way than it's in your way and you damage it while it's in your way. So it's got these little holes, and I'll show you in a second. But this is a challenging.
Take the pick in one side, take the screwdriver and pry it out on that one side as far as you can. And take the pick out, stick to the other side. Repeat as necessary.
That's what she said? No, it didn't. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you see what I was saying. Roll it backwards towards you.
Alright, so what was going on is this was sitting like this. This was in there like this. And so it goes down over the sides right here and clips in right here. So what you're doing is you're going in through these holes while you have tension out here, so that once you pull tension past it, it'll go up, up along this little ridge right here. It's not going to come out really far until you do the other side. And then when you do the other side, it's just going to pop right on out like that. So that's what we, like I said, this is what our culprit was right here. You can see all the fluid all over it, obviously. Let me go ahead and pull this off. And it's just gonna go right up in there like that. So what me and Michael realized was to wedge something in here, because if you don't, it will be challenging. Okay, so you see this little hole right here. This is the one that you actually pulled out and to do it. So what I found to work is you drive one side in, which I found it to be the other side because there's more space over here to drive it in. And so you drive it in until it gets past that with the screwdriver, and you kind of go in flat with the screwdriver. Like this. And so that way it gets all the way in there, locks in place, and then you come on this side and tap it in the other side. Also helps to wedge something in right here in between it, because it will like to just come right out of that hole no matter what you do. Like, so
What she said.
yeah, exactly. So go ahead and put something in between, right here. That way it keeps it in place. Now it's time to start putting stuff back on, the fun part. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by putting together these things with the new parts, which will be, well, it's just really the new spring, and then it gets I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, put this back in place as well, and then so I'll put these on. I gotta remember which way it went. I do believe that this end actually goes up underneath here like that, and then this comes around like that. So it'll be like that, and then this one will go in like this, because you want this little arm. Yeah, this arm's gonna touch right here. So, oops. But yeah, I just adjusted that, so that's good. We gotta readjust it anyways. All right, so we can actually remove this piece right here, because we're gonna actually go replace this this right here. So we're gonna get that out of the way for right now, so that we can just go ahead without anything in our way.
I think it's called a bushing, by the way.
And your mom's a bushing. But you also gotta use those muscles.
Eat your spinach.
Eat your spinach. But I didn't get it where it needed to be. There we go. That's where it needs to be. It needs to be on the, there's like these little, just right below the spring. But the spring actually, this shouldn't be in the way. Hold on. Yeah, but that would still be in the way.
Roll it in your hands. That one that you got on the front should have been on the back.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I had messed up, because this thing needs to be up out of the way of this little arm here. And so now I'll use my muscles. Yeah, big strong man. There we go. Cool. Now I found that after watching Michael do this, this is the easier route to go. And so now we'll take it and we will put it back up there. Back up here.
I still like my way. I learned way more cuss words.
Yeah. And this one here, we just gonna remove that with the pliers so it comes free. Because we got a whole brand new one that's gonna just not stay in at all while we're trying to do anything. So, yeah, like that. Something in that general area. You know what? I used 15 less cuss words just now than Michael did. Like, that's crazy. 15 less. But I might be using a couple more though here in just a moment. So we gotta take these. This is the new spring. And this is the new cap.
Got new pins also.
And new pins. So the pins come in from the back in the little hole. Michael's been watching to see if how much cussing I was gonna do. I don't blame him. And then so that sits right there, and this is gonna go in right there. Now the fun part begins. It's like, how the fuck do you get all that gap right there? Well, that's a good question. And we're about to try and find out together.
I'm gonna try the trick I just figured out.
Let's see here. I'm gonna try.
When it screws off into a low orbit, you get your cardio by trying to find the damn thing.
Yeah. Let's see here. Hang on.
It'll be fine. And watch your piggies.
Yeah, and like that. It looks so easy, but it's a pain in the dick. Oh my God, it's a pain in the dick. But I'm in the little spot. There's like these little grooves in here that you want to get it kind of lined up in. And so there's like little spots. So that's that side. And we still got one more over here, but this one's just as much of a bitch as the other side is. But before we do that, I gotta put this in, and it takes a spring, a new spring at that, and it would be this spring.
It's an oval spring.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a ovally kind of. The one that came off is, there's a piece right here, there's a piece right here. There's a few pieces somewhere else, but where they're not is together. And so it's best to go ahead and put this on now, because if you don't, it's almost impossible, because then you'll be pulling stuff apart. And there we go. See, I watched Michael and learned some lessons while I watched him. One thing I didn't learn was not to hit what I had wedged in here. Now I think I have blood coming out of my head. Yeah. Yeah, see? Blood. So.
Now we're demonetized.
Alright, so let's see here. We got one more of those stupid things to do. Alright, so before I forget, like me and Michael did on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. That goes right up in there. Boom. And just to make sure it's seated. There we go. All right. Now,
spring for your emergency brake.
Yeah.
It
So
goes on when the blue
this one
spring.
this one right here is gonna go on in between right here. So what you'll have to do is, or what goes on with the small opening goes in over the little wedge here, and you're gonna force it in there. It's not that bad though. Just like that. Boom.
Now the arm for the pawl ratchet.
Yeah. So this right here is going to go. Let's see. I gotta remember. I think it went.
From the ratchet to the.
Yeah, from right here. So it goes from right here, which you got pull it out just a touch so that you can get a grip on it. And then you just
compress that spring from the bottom. The spring that you just put on.
oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah, compress that.
So if you reach in there, you can compress it like he's saying, and then you want to push it back as far as you can because you got to have room for that blue spring to go on there. Because if you put it all the way up front, you're going to end up having to like force it back anyways and get this wedge back. So now that's good.
Now your blue spring.
Now the blue spring.
And you want to put it on your pad first.
So as Michael
Front
said,
pad.
it's the front pad. Yeah, because you're going to come in and hook like that. And so you're going to go, there's a hole back here. It's the furthest one back because there's actually a hole right here as well. But you want to go for this hole back here. And then, I think that this is where the tool comes in handy. Because it worked great for me on the other side. And so you take it. And it's not the way to do it.
Hook to the top of the pad. Yeah, hook to the top of the pad, not behind the pad. You get the spring backwards.
Alright. Try this again. Boom. So what I did was I took this, if you can get one of these, is I actually gripped into this little hole right there, and then I used that as leverage to pull this up. So that's where this tool comes in handy. It's going to be the only time you ever use it, and then you're going to be telling your friends that you want to do their rear brakes because you have this tool, because you're like, I got to use it for something. All right, and then there's this one, and this one is going to go in this last hole as well here. And so you're going to go in like that, and then this one is going to hook right here onto this right here. And once again, good old-fashioned tool coming in, saving the day. Boom. And it's like crap. I mean, it took Michael 3 days to do this. Yeah, of course, we had to wait on parts and everything, so it's not his fault. But I learned a lot while watching him. So I can actually include some of that cussing footage in like the blooper reel one day, at the end of the year.
One day.
Like a little blooper reel. But yeah, I gotta put this line back on the back, and then it's just a whole bleeding of the brakes. But we're gonna have that for a whole other video, because this whole truck needs its entire system bled, and that's a whole thing. So we're not going to do that in this video, so stay tuned to the next video where we actually are going to go ahead.
All right guys, so today we're working on Earl and we're doing rear brakes. Pat is over here making another part of the video down there tucked underneath Earl's back end, working on brakes. I got off easy and decided to go ahead and just touch up these rear brake drums. So what I'm gonna do is I've got a 3-inch air sander. And I don't know, it's not marked on the back, so I think it's a 120, maybe an 80. We're gonna take that and we're gonna take out all the high spots and ridges. We're not gonna get real deep into it and try and take out all the little low spots because we'll misshape it. I don't have a lathe big enough to put these on. Sorry about the compressor in the background. It'll shut up here in a bit. But we're gonna be making a lot of noise anyway, so just please bear with me. Oh good, the compressor stopped. All right, so we're gonna let that flash off for a minute. These won't be on very long. So these won't stay on very long. I got a crack. I got a crack right there. So, no racing on these. All right, so we're just gonna take out these high spots. We're gonna ignore this crack for a little while. Ooh, that sounds
Michael
funny.
ignoring crack.
Michael never ignores crack, but we're gonna do it this one time. All right. So, it's kind of what we're going for. Not perfect, but it's smooth. So, it's kind of where we're at. All right, back to Pat.
And do that. Now, as you've seen, Michael has gone through and he's actually resurfaced a little bit of the pads or the drums, and so I need to clean off this here brake fluid. Dang, I just couldn't say what the heck that was. So I need to get this brake fluid off, and then I'll put those drums that he just resurfaced on here, and yeah, we're gonna call it good.
All right, guys. So hope you liked it.
Yeah, I try to get some more Earl videos out. Got a few more things we need to do to her.
Yeah, she's fixing to get some work done. It's getting cold up here.
Yeah, I think what we're going to be doing is going ahead and pulling the motor out of her once we can't drive her around too much, because we're not driving her around with salt on the ground. She's just, all that patina would turn to just absolute rust.
Yeah, she's too pretty a truck.
So, with that said, going to go ahead and pull the motor out, clean up a bunch of stuff.
Fix a lot of the little issues.
I think I actually installed the rear main seal wrong. That's on me. So I need to make sure, if that's the case, I need to put it in right, or well, I need to install a new one, because you can't pull it out and then put it right back in. It's messed up. So yeah,
it's cheap and easy.
Later, guys. See you on the next one.
Peace.